Hi everyone, my name is Audencia Avila and I did my district profile on Monrovia Unified School District. I chose to do Monrovia Unified School District just because I went to school there, so I thought it'd be interesting to research and learn a little more about it, about what kind of students go there, teacher salaries, spending, all those types of things. So Monrovia Unified School District is divided into 5 elementary schools, which I have listed here. There's Plymouth, Mayflower, Monroe, Braddock, and Wild Rose. There's also 2 middle schools, Santa Fe and Clifton, and finally there's just one high school, which is Monrovia High School. I included a picture of it here down here just because I think it's beautiful. I've always loved our building. I've always been very proud of it. So there it is. Okay, and then here we have its defining characteristics. I included both the vision and mission of the district. So according to the Monrovia District, students will be ethical, compassionate individuals who graduate from high school prepared for their college and their career, contribute and adapt to an ever-changing world by being resourceful and responsible citizens, and individuals who embrace diversity. Their mission goes on to explain that they want to inspire students to engage in meaningful learning in a safe and nurturing environment that embraces diversity, and also that challenges students to be ethical, productive members and leaders of the community. I chose to also include the philosophy from Monrovia schools. I also found this on their district website. I thought it would be a good idea to include it just because I feel like it gives a little more insight to what they stand for. It was longer in the website, but I didn't want to include the whole thing, so I just put the main bullet points here. I specifically like the second one just because I think that as new teachers, we've been learning that one size fits all doesn't work anymore for students. We get a diverse group of learners, and we need to learn how to adapt to all their different needs if we want to contribute to their success. But there's that. So the demographics, I started with the graph for the average daily attendance. I thought it was interesting just because I liked that it was pretty consistent throughout the years, starting from 2011. Obviously, we can see here that it's only showing certain years, but it's been pretty consistent for all those years. The second graph I included was the enrollment by ethnicity. Again, if we look at the graph, we can see that the enrollment of students has been pretty consistent over the years. However, the ethnicity, the Hispanic and Latino, make up most of the student body. Again, it's pretty consistent throughout the years. It's been the largest population, followed by white students. The third graph I included was free and reduced price meals. We can see that there was a little bit of a decrease from the 2011-2012 year to the 2012-2013, but then it increased after that and then stayed pretty consistent from there. But as we can see again from the graph, there's still a pretty high percentage of students who receive the free and reduced price meals. Okay, and finally for my demographics, I included the English learners graph. As we can see from our graph, the population increased from 2011-2012 to 2014-2015. It was pretty consistent and increasing, but it did decrease going to the 2015-2016 school year. I did also include the languages of the English learners just because I wanted to see what what language was most spoken, and it turned out to be Spanish, which I guess we would all have guessed. Finally, moving on to financial data, I included this table just because I wanted to see how much the district was getting and what they were spending their money on. And if we do look at these numbers, they do receive more money than they spend. So I did find that to be very interesting. I did also include the general fund revenues by category just because I wanted to see where they got their most money from, and this graph breaks down where they're getting their money from. And again, if we read the graph, we can see that most of their money comes from, or most of their revenue comes from, the local control funding formula. Again, we can see from the graph that the district's funding has increased over the years. They're getting more money now than they were then. The per student revenue trends graph shows us how, and this was kind of upsetting, that from the school years from 2011 to 2012 all the way to the school year of 2014 to 2015, our students were getting less money when compared to other districts. It wasn't until 2015-2016 school year that they were getting more money than than the other districts. Finally, I did also include the general fund expenditures by activity. I included this just because I wanted to see where most of their money was going, and again, as we can see from the graph, most of their money is spent on instruction. The teacher salaries, this was actually pretty nice to see that compared to other districts, our teachers are paid more. We are this line right here, and we continue to be getting paid more when compared to other teachers. All right, so now if we talk about the local control and accountability plan, excuse me. Again, there's eight state priority requirements, and they're listed here. They're the basic condition of learning, the state standards, parental involvement, pupil achievement, pupil engagement, school climate, access to courses, and finally, other student outcomes in subject areas. But when I went on to the Monrovia Unified School District website, I found that after careful analysis of district needs and student outcomes, it was determined that the local control and accountability plan for Monrovia Unified District would be written in three distinct goal areas, which I have listed here: student achievement, third grade literacy, and student engagement. Now moving on to strengths. When I researched and talked to many teachers, I found these to be the top strengths for the district. The first one was that they offer dual immersion programs. I know that they've offered Spanish, but now they offer Mandarin. They have the Code to the Future. This has started with a lot of the elementary schools, but it is moving on to middle schools. And this program allows students to work with coding. So I know like some of the little elementary schools, the kids in the elementary schools were able to program a robot to do different functions. That was really interesting to see. They also have strong robotics team at both the middle schools and high schools. They do offer a variety of programs. By this I mean like they have this Renaissance program that used to just be at the high school, but now they started since the elementary level. So they start from an early age learning about leadership skills, learning how to public speak, which I think is amazing. They also have technology. Again, this goes hand in hand with the Code to the Future program, where they're incorporating more technology-based instruction, but also they do have a lot of Chromebooks in the different schools, which I think is great. And finally, they do offer support for diverse learners. Again, they have different programs. I talked to one of the high school teachers, and he talked to me about how they have a lot of meetings and where they discuss and bounce ideas off each other to see how they can best meet their students' needs. However, there are some challenges that the district faces. One of the biggest challenges that I found out was that they have large class sizes. The ratio for student to teacher is large, so it's harder for teachers to be able to help their students, especially those with higher needs, because they have such large classes. So it becomes overwhelming. I know I talked to one of the third grade teachers, and she has more than 30 students, and a lot of her students have they're either English learners, they have ADHD, they have hearing problems, so it's hard for her to meet their different challenges. There's also a lack of substitute teachers. I know this has become a big problem because oftentimes they don't have enough substitute teachers, so it's very hard for teachers to be able to take a day off. I think in large part this is because I've heard that our district, or the Monrovia district, pays substitute teachers a lot less than other districts. So I don't know if that's one of the major contributions to why we lack substitute teachers. I also included technology in my challenges. Even though I do believe it to be a strength, it can also be a challenge for teachers because not all teachers are technologically savvy, so they do have some problems with the different programs. And also, even though we do have more technology, we still do not have enough. So like the Chromebooks, there's not enough for each class. So I know at the high school level they have to rent out the Chromebooks, and unfortunately if say they want it for Friday but another teacher already asks for them, they have to change their lesson and they have to adapt. So there's not enough Chromebooks for everybody. And I know another big challenge is bullying. Unfortunately, this is seen a lot in the elementary schools, and it's upsetting to hear that it happens, but it happens everywhere, and we just need to figure out how to fix that. Some recent changes that have happened, again, I talked about different programs, just like the dual immersion programs and the Code to the Future program that have recently started up in some of our schools. They also have different opportunities, such as the Renaissance program that I also talked about, where students are able to now become involved since the elementary school level, which I think is a great idea. So these changes have been very positive. And so finally, my recommendations for all of these challenges and strengths. Again, I think anti-bullying campaigns would really help with our bullying problem. I think maybe teachers can have a discussion with students and have them be more aware of the problem and what they can do. I know this has already started at the one of the elementary schools, where the Renaissance students are also peacemakers, and so they're able to they talk about how they talk about problems, so to fix problems, which I think is great. Also hire more teachers. Again, I talked about the large class sizes. I think if there's more teachers, again, there will be smaller class sizes, and teachers will be able to better help their students and better meet their needs. Raising salaries, again, maybe offer a little more money for substitute teachers, and then maybe they'll be able to hire substitute teachers. I talked about how not all teachers have access to the Chromebook, so maybe if a technology grant comes along and they're able to buy more supplies. And then finally, just encouragement. I think if teachers continue to encourage students, they'll be able to continue to be more involved in the schools and just be more aware of everything. And these were my resources. I pretty much got most of my information from the EdData website and the Monrovia Unified School District website. And so I believe that completes my presentation. Thank you for watching.